If you are new to guitar pedals, hold on, don't buy the guitar pedal just yet. Give me just about 10 minutes to see if I can change your mind. That's because today I have a very special guest and we're gonna talk about what guitar pedals you need to be at the core of your pedal board. And if you're on a tight budget like me, which one you need to buy first if you can only buy one at a time. So my special guest is Paul Keenum. He's a friend of mine. He's a guitar player at our church, and week in and week out, he plays. He has a great tone, and he trains the new guitar players at our church on how to set up their pedal boards, what pedals they need to get. So he has a lot of experience. So here we go. All right, Paul, first question. What guitar pedals do you recommend for new guitar players? And you can tell me types and you can tell me brands. Go for it.
I recommend, as far as types go, the kind of ones that I use regularly. Can't go wrong with a tuner, obviously. Overdrive pedal, delay pedal, and a reverb pedal. Those there are going to kind of give you your foundation for just about anything you need to do.
And I have to stop right here. And I have to say, I think the tuner is the #1 pedal that you should get if you're playing live. If you're not playing live and you're just playing in your bedroom for your own enjoyment or around different places, you can use your phone, an app on your phone to tune, or you can use a clip-on tuner. But if you're gonna be playing in a live environment, and if it's kind of darker especially, I love foot pedals because they have a great display that are easy to see. Paul uses the Boss TU3. I'll show you a picture right here. You can see it there in the upper right-hand corner. It has a great digital display and you can clearly see the name of the pitch and it lets you know, are you flat or sharp? So I think it's a great idea if you're gonna be playing live. Now let's keep going. All right, talk to me about, let's start with maybe overdrives. Some of the brands, I mean, do I need to drop $20,000 to get a good pedal board or what? Like, what's your philosophy on it?
Definitely not. Okay. I know with being new players may not have heard of a pedal called the Klon Centaur pedal that is literally like an $8,000 overdrive pedal. You do not have to spend that much money. The ones I recommend starting off with, it's an Ibanez TS9, which is their tube screamer. If it's good enough for Stevie Ray Vaughan, it is good enough for me. The other one I recommend is from Electro-Harmonix. It is a Soul Food, which is actually a copy of that Klon Centaur pedal. It's not the exact same, but it definitely very similar and kind of works in that same wheelhouse that the expensive one does. Another good one is Voodoo Labs Sparkle Drive, which is very similar to the Tube Screamer. It's a similar type of circuit, but it's got a clean mix knob on there, so it's a little bit more versatile than the actual Tube Screamer is. That's one reason I like that one. But those are the 3 overdrive pedals I'd start with.
That's good. And a concept that you need to know is there's a point of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So you can spend $8,000 and get the dream pedal, or you can spend $100 and get 95% of what that pedal will do. By the way, as we throw out the different model names of pedals, I will be putting links in the description section below so you can check them out. I am an Amazon affiliate, but I also hope to add some other great affiliate options from other music companies. All right, let's keep going. So, Paul, we've been talking about overdrive pedals. What would the next pedal be on your list of a pedal you have to have a basic, good, well-rounded pedal board?
I would start with probably the delay pedal next. And a good point of entry for the delay pedals, they are naturally going to be a little bit more expensive than the overdrive pedals, just with the tech that goes into that type of pedal.
Yeah.
But Boss actually makes a line. All their delay pedals start with the letters DD. So they have their entry-level one right now is called the DD3T. And it's actually, they've made an upgrade recently where they added tap tempo to it, which is, it's important for me is to, especially for playing stuff like the Edge. He really kind of made that dotted 8 kind of gallopy delay really popular, and being able to tap that tempo in is super important to be able to make sure you're synced up with band, click track, anything you're playing with. And that one, what it does is it gives you an option for a quarter note delay, eighth note delay, and a dotted eighth delay, as well as like your mix knob, feedback knob. You can adjust how many repeats you have, the length of the repeats and everything, and you can tap the tempo in where you actually, you're synced in with whatever tempo you're playing at. It's going to give you quarter note, eighth note, or dotted eighth, whatever setting you have it on.
It seems to me too, and correct me if I'm wrong, weigh in on this, but I like a tap function because if you're sitting down for a recording session or you're jamming and everybody's at 120 BPM, you can just type that in. But what if you're just playing in the middle of a set live and somebody decides to do something and it's not 120 BPM.
Yep, that's one thing. Having that tap tempo feature is huge for, especially live moments. It happens at church a lot where we have a song change, or if we sync up with a different campus at the time and they're doing something different, having that tap tempo feature there really helps me be able to lock in with a different tempo if I have to change it on the fly.
Yes, agreed. Now, if you enjoy this subject as the video goes along, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, because when you hit the bell, you'll get notifications when the next video drops in this series about pedals. So, overdrives, delays, one other perspective too. We talked about this the other day. Delay, a lot of people would say reverb, but with a delay pedal, if you tighten it up, you can actually get the ambiance. Maybe not exactly like a reverb, but kind of that effect. So is that one reason why you'd prioritize a delay above a reverb? I
would, yes, for that very reason. I have a little bit more high-tech delay pedal than the one I talked about, but I have like a setting that's labeled like wash is all I labeled it. What it does, I've got the repeats turned up a little higher, but the mix, which is how loud the delay actually is, I've got that turned down lower, where the signal, the delay signal just kind of sits under my tone, and it kind of acts like a reverb when I don't want an all-out reverb on my signal.
So, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to just say you can definitely kind of tweak the delay pedal to act more like a reverb depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I would say, because I'd never really thought about that in those terms when we were talking about it, but you can make a delay kind of sound like a reverb. You cannot make a reverb kind of sound like a delay.
Nope.
So, yeah, that makes sense why you would prioritize that higher. Okay, speaking of reverb pedals, let's talk about that. I love a good reverb.
So I would stick with Boss. Again, reverb is going to be the same thing as delay. There's just more tech that goes into those pedals, so naturally like we call them wet effects, like delay, reverb, stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit pricier, but the Boss reverb pedals start with RV. They're current model is the RV7, I believe, but you can get the RV5, RV6, RV7, any kind of reverb pedal from Boss it's going to take you a long way.
Cool. And just to be clear, neither Paul or I have deals with any of these companies. We do not have promotional deals or any kind of deals with any of these companies. So when we're recommending these, it's not like we're getting cash from Boss and then telling you, hey,
it is from first-hand experience.
Right. So. Yeah. So just so you'll know that. So a quick follow-up. You can talk to us a little bit more about brands. So let's do that real quick.
So I've mentioned a lot of Boss pedals. Those are just the ones that I have the most first-hand experience with, and I know both new and used. They're extremely budget-friendly, whether you're looking for an overdrive pedal, if you're looking for an octave pedal, phaser, whatever you may be looking for, Boss is going to have a very budget-friendly option that's going to get you exactly where you need to go. The other kind of budget-friendly beginner-type brands are going to be TC Electronics. I know there's a couple guys on the team that use some of their pedals, especially their Hall of Fame reverb is super popular in the worship world. I know a lot of guys that use that. And then Electro-Harmonix. I mentioned one of their overdrive pedals earlier, but they do... they're most famous probably for the Big Muff Fuzz pedal is one of theirs.
Yeah.
And then they do a lot of budget-friendly, beginner-friendly stuff, and they do even crazier stuff than Boss does. So if you're looking for kind of pedals that are a little bit different, or even kind of your staples like we're talking about today, those are the three companies I would stick with.
So, quick review. Which guitar pedals do you buy first? Paul, you were saying overdrive?
Oh, overdrive's first, just because you kind of get that. That's a lot of guys that play guitar. We want to play rock and roll. AC/DC, I know Master Puppets has been super hot here lately. So so that's going to kind of give you that tone that most guys are searching for when they're starting to play guitar. After that, you kind of expand your horizons with delay, kind of give you more popular stuff, uses a lot of delay these days, and it's good to know how to work those pedals, because it is a lot of things you don't realize uses delay, or even if it's just a little slap back delay, you don't realize until you're watching a video how to play it, and you're like, oh, they've got a ton of delay and reverb on that. I should probably have those pedals.
Yeah.
And then reverb last, strictly because of how most people use a reverb. If you're in a studio, a lot of times it's going to be like a studio plug-in or something like that to give you reverb. But for a live setting, you want just a little bit of reverb there to kind of help you sit where you need to sit in the mix. Is how I like to describe how I use reverb. So.
Yeah. Speaking of recording, I'll do a side note. I was a recording engineer for a while, and a lot of times we would record things dry.
Yep.
because once you record with reverb or delay, you can't undo that. And so I could easily have somebody come in and they would play, and then I could use a universal audio plugin for reverb and add just a luscious, gorgeous reverb with that $150 plugin or whatever it costs now, inflation, whatever. but yeah, so good thoughts. All right, do you like what you've heard so far? If you've enjoyed this video and gotten value out of it, please give me a like and drop me a comment below. Let me know what stood out to you or if there's anything else you would like to know about. I really want to hear from you. I also offer a free newsletter down in the description section below. If you sign up there, you'll get links to exclusive videos that are not yet public on YouTube, reviews of mainly guitar amps, but I'm gonna be adding some other videos to that, and occasionally I'll send out a little blast on when there's price drops in really cool guitar equipment. So sign up for the newsletter, it's free, I won't spam you. Go ahead, take a minute and do that. And as always, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, because when you hit the bell, you get notifications about more pedal videos that'll be dropping. As always, thank you for your time. God bless, have a great day. Bye.